Great. So we're here today at Sunshine Cafe, and it's glad to be here. Of course, could you state your name just for?
Yep, Lorene, Lorene, Dady, Dadey.
Great. Thank you for that. So just to start off, how do you define management, and what has influenced or informed your definition?
Management is the workings of the business. It's how you get your employees and co-owners to be on the same page, to operate at the same level, to accomplish. We're in a service industry, so each customer that comes in is important, and everybody has to have their own role in the successful operation of the business.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you for that. So moving forward, switching gears a little bit, what do you find to be most difficult about leading?
Sometimes we're hands-on. We have a small staff, so sometimes if employees are tired, they bring their outside world here. It's difficult for me as a leader to always lead and forget to ask to help.
Yeah.
Ask for the help to accomplish a task because I get frustrated, so I just do it myself.
Okay. All right. So as a manager and like an owner as well, what are some of the personal skills or traits that you depend upon the most, you would say?
My interaction with the customers, my interaction with making sure there's enough product here to service it. My husband and I have a division of duties, so he has specific duties. I have specific duties. He manages the morning. I come in later, manage the afternoon. So we're dealing with two different concepts.
Absolutely. So, in terms of whenever you're leading, what do you find, what are some of the issues that come up when you're leading, a team versus when you're, motivating individuals throughout the day, at work?
Well, the individuals have to feel like they're a part of the team. They have to see the owners and or managers, leaders doing. We don't ask them to do anything that we don't do, and it's important for them to see that so they don't feel like they're being talked down to. They have a small task to do, and why do I have to do that? If they see us participating every single day, you have a much higher success rate.
Absolutely. Great. So, let's see, what's another question we can ask you? So in terms of social resources, so we're thinking of networks and just things like that, who are, would you say, your most important social resources or persons that you network with, and why? So that could be suppliers, distributors, clients, anything like that.
To run a successful small business, you need all of that. We are not real big on social media. We do have a son that kind of dabbles in it. That's one of our goals for the years, to be more involved, on Facebook and things like that.
Of course.
But networking is a very large part of the success of our business.
Cool. So I'm going to get into a little bit of some of the more kind of definitions that we talk about in class. So the four main topics that we're really trying to cover throughout this project are basically planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. And we have just some quick definitions that we use to define them. So when you look at, for example, and you can take a second to look at those if you want to, in terms of just planning, or maybe if you could talk about and really just talk about how you kind of incorporate all of these into your work. So planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. I know
you have to plan every day. Every day is different. We do different specials every single day. Every day of the week, you have to. The traffic in our business is different on every single day. Fridays is more busy. Some of our business depends on when people get paid.
Sure.
So we have an extra account to help supplement. We do a vending contract. So we have a different work atmosphere on Mondays and Wednesdays than we do the rest of the week. So you have to really, every day you go in is a new beginning, and you really have to think about all the things that have to be planned out, whether it be specials or, do I have enough cash on hand? Do I have enough change on hand? Do I have enough people on the floor? Is it a hot day out? People are purchasing more cold items, so I have to shift the movement over to cold items.
Of course.
If it's busy, for instance, in the winter months, you have to shift more people to the back of the line where they're cooking hot foods or handling hot foods. So planning is an everyday occurrence, and it's the same thing with organizing. If you're not organized for the day and ready to rock and roll, as I call it, for lunch, once you get behind it, it's extremely hard to catch up. And the focal point of our business is service to the customers. Everybody that walks in here is important. Everybody's order had better go out correct. Without them, we have no reason to be here.
Absolutely.
And that's been a theme since 1979 when we first started out. Anybody can go anywhere for a cup of coffee, but if somebody makes their coffee for them, they say, how's your children? What's going on today? That kind of thing. You celebrate a new birth and anniversary, stuff like that. We concentrate on those things. It's extremely important that not only is a customer first, but when they walk in, they're our priority. So if you see 50 people for lunch, you have to be mindful that not only is their order correct, you have the product here, you talk to them, you speak to them, but everything is going out correct, but they are the most important. Hi, how are you? What's going on today? Gee, you look tired today. Has your wife had the baby yet? How's that little one doing? Those kinds of things are extremely important. So every day is a work in progress. I don't know until I step in here what's going on for the day, if we have any large orders going out. So it's a multitude of faucets that make it successful. It's not a set plan every single day.
Absolutely.
Certain key things have to be done every single day. But when you go to operate a business, you have to be flexible. You have to be open to new ideas, new thoughts. So there's a lot of different things that go into running a small business. It's different than at the corporate level where you have a specific job and specific duties.
Absolutely.
We can't do it here. What happens if one of our spokes is, has to leave the floor, is gone, is sick? You got to be ready to hop in there and take control of it.
And so, because actually that's one of the things, that we wanted to kind of, my group specifically wanted to take in terms of directing our project, because in general, I would say that a lot of this project can focus on, us reaching out to a lot of corporate level people, because I can tell you, the guidelines we literally had, it was either a CEO or high level manager, director manager type people. And so, whenever I went to my teacher and I was like, okay, what about, for example, if we spoke to an owner, and they were like, oh yeah, that counts. So with that being said, one of the things that I wanted to focus on is kind of take a different spin on the project and look at more small businesses and just local businesses that still, are very efficient and fall within the category, because it gives you, it's a completely different perspective.
Absolutely.
Obviously, in terms of versus corporate, where it's, kind of almost the same plan, you have 50 different stores, they're all run the same way, and versus a small business, constantly adjusting to the atmosphere, the business field.
And another big thing that you need to focus on if you're talking about a small business is the economy, because when the economy shifts, we do a lot of work with our militaries, because all 4 bases are right here. If they get deployed, our customer base drops. If we're in straits as far as we don't have spending money to go out and buy that cup of coffee or whatever, everybody's brown bagging, you have got to reevaluate your menu, you've got to reevaluate your staff, your hours. There's so much that goes into the economy. When it's booming, you're able to do a lot of different things.
A lot more flexible.
But when you are forced to reevaluate, an owner must look at, am I getting the best price for the linens? My contract prices for meats and supplies. I mean, there's genuinely a whole gamut, and I call it riding waves. We're on the uphill wave right now, but we've seen a lot of waves come and go throughout the years. And when you have money, you're able to afford. You're able to afford things. When the economy slows down, you have got to work harder and longer than you ever can imagine.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. And one of the things we talk about just within economics courses is that, especially with financial instability, fiscal downturn is almost cyclical. So economic downturn, it's one of those things where we'll get out of it. So for example, think about the 2008 recession. We got out of it. We're back on the uphill, but then I think about going uphill is that at the end of the day, there's a top, and then once you hit the top, you can't really go any higher, then that's when you start to fall down. So,
And
yeah.
even just the products that you serve, because we serve quality homemade things, you look for another avenue to introduce a product that isn't as expensive to sell. You can still make your margin because you have all these fixed costs.
Yeah.
And when you are in a small business, especially, our motto has always been you constantly have to save for tomorrow. If a plane came through this building tomorrow, I still have debts, I still have a family, I still have responsibilities.
Absolutely.
So,
Of course. So, just expanding upon that just a little bit more, could you talk a little bit more about how, like, you kind of control? So, like, controlling is kind of just defined as, like, basically measuring performance, like, just kind of giving yourself, like, a criteria of, like, how are you kind of reaching, like, measuring whether or not you're reaching your goals and, like, reaching those things that you set out to do as, like, a business. So,
you look at, has your business grown? Is it stagnant? Are you getting new clientele? Have you, for instance, taken on new projects? And by projects, I mean sometimes we supplement our income by doing catering events.
of course.
Are you expanding on those? Are you advertising? Do people know that, you do, wrap trays, sandwich trays, whatever it might be, breakfasts, that kind of thing. Breakfast sandwiches. So how do you control it? You really can't control foot traffic, but you have to give them a reason to come in here. You have to, maybe know their name. Or you have to create a link with your customers because our customers is not transient traffic. We're not in it. We went from a captive audience to freestanding, and that was a huge cultural shock to us. Because in a captive audience, we were in an office building, so you had the clientele there.
Yeah.
They don't have to stop here. If you don't make it for a comfortable experience, they're not going to come in. So you constantly have to reevaluate, am I reaching people enough? Are my products looking as good or better? Have we introduced in the summertime something unique, like a salad, for instance, that they can't get other places? Or like on Thursdays, a huge bestseller for us is we do scratch cream of broccoli soup. We can't keep enough here. On Fridays, not only do we serve fish and clams, but they know that I wait Thursday night for it to come in. Most of our customers do. So that they're receiving fresh fish, fresh clams, homemade mac and cheese, all on Friday. We put a tribute to my mother up. The customers love that. It's my mother's mac and cheese recipe. So if one of the kids write it up, they'll put Grandma's mac and cheese. So it's like, well, what do you mean? I go, well, we're honoring my mom today.
Yeah.
They love it. Those have to be the reasons why they come in, because you can go to Panera and get a cup of coffee and be in and out with a soup, but it's not their personal touch.
Of course.
So that's how we differentiate ourselves. That's what we strive to do. Our motto for, since 1979 is one breakfast, lunch, and a smile. And they get that every single time they come in here.
That's awesome.
And if they don't, then I get right on it because there's a problem. Most of the time you have a new employee, our employees generally are here for a while. If you bring somebody new in and they're not really fitting the mold, my husband and I don't have to take care of it. Either our employees or our customers do. Believe it or not.
It's awesome.
So,
it's natural.
Yeah.
So switching gears a little bit, what would you say is your greatest accomplishment and success that you've experienced as a manager / owner, and why?
I think that us being a mom and pop place with a unique experience and unique products that we offer, because we sell nothing but quality. We will never cut back on it. If we have to earn less money, we will never cut back on that. So the greatest accomplishment is being able to be self-employed since 1979, raising a family, going through these horrible economic times. It's been good, but it's been bad at times, as you already know. Ask your mom and dad. And we've been able to survive. And how are you able to survive? You constantly have to reevaluate where you're going. And I do most of the accounting work, but I have a firm that helps me. So you have to have good people helping you. You can't think you know it all. 4 kids. Last one's getting their MBA. So 3 out of the 4 ones in a term. And you have to be open-minded because the younger generation, like you, some of my children, they have great ideas, and you've got to be willing to institute them, embrace them, back off and say, like, this was a huge issue. One of our sons, because he was at the U of A studying business, we need to go to fountain drinks. Changes our whole concept for many reasons. You need ice machine, you need somebody to actually do the drink, blah, blah, blah. Well, we got into a huge scuffle. You make so much more money, blah, blah, blah. To make a long story short, I am so glad that we did not change from that concept, because you have to think about what the economics are now. People are not, we used to sell 100 bottles of soda a day. Not anymore. Because people are going toward the healthier things, the waters, the juices, the teas.
Of course.
So if we would have changed our concept, it wouldn't have worked. Because, juice out of a jug.
Yeah, you can't have that.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you really have to evaluate. You have to know who you are, what you are, and what you want to accomplish. I think that's the most important thing. But I think our biggest accomplishment is pride in the fact that we've been around for so long. We've raised our family, fed and clothed our children this way, and they have learned to be not just good workers, because most children are, if they don't have a lot given to them. But they don't know what a 9 to 5 clock is, and that's one of the things that you're going to have to set yourself apart when you go out looking for a job. You're not going to be able to say, well, I'm going to work 9 to 5 and that's it. Because there's 10 other kids in line that are willing to work 12 hours a day for the same goal.
Absolutely. So, reversing that question just a little bit, what is the worst mistake or failure you've experienced as a manager and why?
Oh, dear. What is the worst? What's the worst? I'm trying to think. I get maybe it would be introducing a new product that was a flop and investing a lot of time, money, and energy into it and having it not work out, have it not pan out, or something like that. I can't think of a particular product right off the top of my head, but everything is a trial. A new product is a trial, and I would say that and if you have a bad attitude in there, it's one of the worst mistakes you can make. Like a new employee comes in with a bad attitude, it's not good.
Yeah.
So.
Of course. And so, what would you say that you do differently now that kind of reflects these experiences? So, as a result, your greatest accomplishments, your worst mistakes.
Probably one of the things that has made it work is that both my husband and I are extremely involved. We are here every day. There's always one of us here. After doing this for 37 years, we still close down only 1 week a year, and we're getting tired, because we're getting older.
Of course.
But you have to be mindful. I mean, we could close for a month, but a lot of places do. But these people come in, we see regulars 2-3 times a week. They're going to get out of that habit of coming here. It's good in some ways to be. We usually close down 3 days Thanksgiving week, but we get a whole week off.
Yeah.
And that was an accomplishment after 25 years of being self-employed. It was a long time. And people get to experience other places, and they miss us. So I think that that's one of the things that we've learned, is that we can take a little bit of time, but it never leaves you. Like my husband could take time off, or I could take time off, but it just doesn't work that way, because we both need to be here. And I guess another thing that makes us a success, and something that we have learned to adjust through the years, is we have a division of duties. He's responsible for certain things. I'm more the financial, the purchasing, the managing. And I think it's very important to have that, especially if it's a spouse.
Yeah.
So it's hard to work with your spouse every single day, and then you go home and you live with them and whatever else it might be. But you got to remember to keep your personal life at home, your family life at home, even if one of the kids is here. You know, you can never show favoritism. And if we didn't have a division of duties, he knows everything I do, I know everything he does. For instance, if he helped pay bills at the end of the month or the beginning of the month, I wouldn't know if they're paid or not. So we both get busy, and guess what? We get a call, something's not paid. Whoa, wait a minute, never.
Yeah.
So you have to have a division of duties. You have to set up those things, and you can't feel like you're intimidated because you do X, Y, and Z, and he does X, Y, and Z. You can't feel like that. When we negotiate a contract, we both do it.
Yeah.
And now, to be honest with you, we have one of our sons because that's what he does for a living. So it's kind of interesting.
So
this is my husband, Patrick.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
Is Thompson and Johnson almost ready?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to fly right now.
Okay, make sure Mariah runs it through.
What's that?
Mariah's got to run it through.
No problem.
Thanks.
So, what advice would you offer others who are trying to develop like their management effectiveness and just kind of hiring edge?
You have to be on top of things. You have to rethink every single day. You have to be broad-minded.
Yeah.
And you have to really have to find out what the goal of the business is. Is the goal of the business to just serve people that come in and out, like for instance on the thruway? They're totally different than the customers that we have. If you don't reevaluate how your employees are doing, if there's a problem, you got to nip it in the bud like right away. If you don't see them interacting well with your customers, then you've got to, in this type of business, you've got to move right away and talk to the employee and say, look, it's not how we do things, or, you know, you got a better idea than we do. You got to be willing to accept. Like Margie is from a different country. Obviously, you can hear her accent, but she brings a wealth of experience and knowledge, and you have to be willing to listen, because between the two, there's a lot of roundtable discussions that must go into running a successful small business.
Of course, that's great. So, just a few more questions, and we should be good to go. What role do like personal values and like ethics really play in your management effectiveness, if at all?
Kind, decent, moral, honest. Honesty is huge. It's huge, because if people see you cutting corners, they're going to lose respect for you. So respect is a two-way street. Honesty is a two-way street.
Of course.
You know, somebody forgets to ring somebody up, you'll see them come back the next day and say, hey, Rini, guess what? She forgot to ring me up. You don't see that. Somebody's credit card doesn't go through. I'll put you on the board if I know that, you know, so I'll put you on the board and they come back. If they think you're just being sly, not living by the standards that you're professing here, guess what? It's not going to work. So I think honesty is the key. Like, you know, a lot of small businesses, it's just cash. So, well, I could take a little bit here, a little bit, no. Because you know what? You need that money to pay your bills to be successful, and you'll make more money if you're honest or not. And one thing, you know, I'm a mom, but I started out in small business not being a mom. We didn't have children yet.
Of course.
And I never wanted to embarrass my children. I never wanted to embarrass my husband. And he feels the same way. So you live by a moral creed, I guess.
Absolutely. Looking just to see if we missed anything. Okay, one more question, and after that we're good to go. So, do you think that management in your industry is different from or involves different pressures and skills than management in other industries?
The basics are all the same, no matter where you are. But when it comes to skills, each industry is different, so your skills have to be specific to the business that you run. For instance, you know, you can have floor coverage, you can have the product here, you're talking about supply chain, you're talking about time scheduling, you're talking about a lot of the same things, but each area or each industry is unique. Like even just something as simple as food, they have to know how to run like a grill, a fryer, equipment. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And if you're in a factory, you need to be able to run a machine. So different educations bring different things. I think it's very important for a business owner to be college educated because it really genuinely helps you understand what's going on. You're better able to converse with vendors to negotiate a contract. You know what you're talking about. But when you need the expert help, then you need to know what your limitations are so that you can reach out to those that can help you. For instance, like an accountant or whatever. I can do day-to-day things, but I don't want to even be concerned because I don't have the time, the expertise, or the knowledge to make sure that, my taxes are filed correctly or whatever. Those kinds of things. So you need to be a big enough person to reach out for help when you need it.
All right. Great. Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's wonderful to meet you.
Absolutely. Let me go ahead and stop this. Yeah, like that.